Morning Dish.
He's the hardest working man in show business. His band's music takes you into the midnight hours. And when you wake up, his voice is back on your radio alarm clock. How on earth did this happen?
Well, Jeff saw me taking out the trash at the radio station.
And he won another award.
But this one is better.
I'm your boogeyman. That's what I am.
It's the Morning Dish with the 2019 Radio Personality of the Year winner, Stephen Phillips.
You paying attention to this, Packy?
And Murphy's own Sherry Raines.
Yeah, you must have given horseback passes to the right guy, Stephen.
Well, giddy up.
And Packy Smith's Shetland pony is right alongside.
You guys know these demo tapes don't just edit themselves together, right?
Well, all right.
3 cheers for Stephen Phillips.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All righty, folks, we're back with you. Been talking about it all week. We have a young lady on here that has 7 #1 hits and has song recorded by Bonnie Raitt, Willie Nelson, Beth Midler, Elton John, Neil Diamond, and the list, Keb Mo, golly, and the list goes on and on. I could introduce her for 15 minutes, but we need to get to her. Beth Nielsen Chapman, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I love hearing that list.
I'm going to tell you, girl, you have absolutely one of the greatest songwriters of our time. And, it's just crazy. You actually started, I think, now tell me if this is right, your first song that actually got cut was with Willie Nelson. Is that right?
Oh, heavens no. By then I was rocking and rolling. The first song I ever had cut was by a group called The Girls Next Door, and it went to number 26 on the charts, and it was called Baby I Want It.
Oh, Lord.
And then the first actual real hit that I wrote with Don Schlitz, was a big hit for Tanya Tucker called Strong Enough to Bend.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Willie Nelson song came after that, and I'm still pinching myself.
I'm telling you, I mean, Bette Midler, Elton John, you just had all this, and, now where are you actually from originally?
Well, I was kind of raised up on Air Force bases. So my dad was in the Air Force. We traveled all around, lived in Germany and up in New England and California. Mm-hmm. And then we moved from Germany to Alabama in '69. So that was quite a culture shock. But my family stayed in Alabama and settled there. And my parents are both from up in New York. So it was I've had a real mix of cultural experiences. So when somebody says, "Where are you from?" I say I'm a geographical mongrel, but I've had a long time to live in the South. And, it's been interesting. Lots of different perspectives and parts of the world, really been cool, actually.
I can imagine. Well, you've got your own thing going, which is you've got your own songs that you release, your own albums, and I absolutely love it, especially the piano, because I'm a piano. My mother, that's what got me into music. My mother played piano in church, which kind of influenced me on that, but I absolutely love the piano songs that you set there, just you and the piano. I just think that is fantastic.
Well, I moved to Nashville in 1985, and my songwriting was what I really started off focusing on, and I kept trying to get a record deal. Nobody wanted me for a couple of years. And then I got signed to Warner Brothers and made records with them for about 10 years, and then I've worked with all different labels and licensed my own records since then. So I'm on my 15th album, actually, coming out early next year.
Wow.
And I love making records, and I love having other people cut my songs. I mean, that's a great honor. And I've just been so fortunate to work with some of the greatest artists. I mean, from Bonnie Raitt to Keb Mo and beyond. There's Lord. Just amazing. I never thought I'd get to meet any of these guys. And to get to be friends with them and work with them has been just such a joy, It's hard, really. It's very hard right now for songwriters just coming up.
Right.
I do a lot of teaching and I do a lot of mentoring. It's such a great art form, and we really need great songwriters. And, I'm very much interested in trying to be part of what helps to get them compensated, so that they can make a living and keep bringing us great songs. Because, I don't know, you're probably way younger than me, but
no, he's not. He's not. He's not.
You're a lot older than I am.
I don't know. I bet I'm older than you, Stephen. I bet.
Not much.
But we grew up when all those great songs were all sorts of different styles were all mixed in. You had Patsy Cline, and then you had the Beatles, and you had Motown, and all the great country artists were embedded into the same playlist as the great pop songs at different points, Right. And then plus being an Air Force brat, I mean, the Air Force radio was a real melting pot. So I don't really ever think of myself as one particular kind of songwriter. I've written all these different genres because I've been exposed to great songs in all of them. But anyway,
that's one of the things that really, we're going from Willie Nelson to Elton John. I mean, that is just across the whole spectrum. I mean, no doubt about it. And y'all folks listening out there, just go to Beth Nielsen Chapman.com, and you can see all the stuff she's got going on. Plus, she's got a teaching school that you can sign up with.
Well, I'm wondering how does it has to feel. I don't know. I can imagine how it would feel like Faith Hill did your song "This Kiss," and then it was picked up and on Practical Magic. I mean, it has been used on movies and television. That's got to be like
that song put my son through college.
There you go.
I bet.
There you go.
And I wrote that with two other writers, Annie Roboff and Robin Lerner, and we all three were, we felt like we hit the jackpot. And here's something people don't really realize. Most people think, well, a bunch of songwriters write a song, it's a hit, and everybody fights over it, and somebody gets it, and it's a hit. But we played that song for so many artists for about a year and a half, and nobody would cut it.
Wow.
And isn't that amazing? And most of the songs, I've had 7 songs go to number 1. I think maybe one of them got cut right away. The rest of them we were trying to sell them, for a year.
Right.
And then somehow the right artist would come along. So what I tell my students is, just because your song hasn't been on the charts doesn't mean it's not good, or doesn't mean it's not going to be somewhere at a later time. You have to really keep your head above water in terms of your confidence, because most of the time songwriters write a little ahead of time.
Right.
And the world's not quite ready for that song yet. And I remember when we won the Song of the Year, and I was at the ASCAP Awards, I went up to us, "Can you play that for us? Man, that's a great song." We're like, "We did. If you check your inbox."
Right.
We sent it.
Have you ever had a song that you had maybe a fight over, several artists that wanted to cut it? Has that ever been a problem?
Probably. We probably tried to make them all do it at the same time, because songwriters don't care. They're happy for everybody to cut it. We have had songs where people put it on hold, and you're not allowed to play it for anybody else. Well, Annie and I wrote with Bonnie Raitt for her Fundamental album. We worked with her. And of course, if you write with Bonnie Raitt, she's going to be the one who gets the song. We were like, "Yes, ma'am, you can have that song." And she was actually a very big part of the writing of the song. She's a great songwriter. People don't really realize how some artists that, they cut other people's songs, and she's one of those ones. She's a fantastic songwriter, and I'm always giving her a hard time, like, you should really be writing, more songs. But it's a beautiful art form, and I'm so excited when I get to work with someone who's really, really got a songwriting talent that's in the making. And I have to give them a lot of advice about the fact that at this time in history, songwriters in the worst position to get paid properly, but that's not going to be forever. It's starting to change, and there's lots of new legislation that's going to help. And, if this Kiss was just as big of a hit today as it was back then, I would make about a fourth as much income.
Yep, I can do that.
Yeah, and and that doesn't mean that it would generate a fourth as much money. It generates as much or more. It's just that the way that the system is structured now, it's just a time when we have to work on it and get it to be better,
Well, that's like.
But I always say, don't let your songwriting get anywhere near the superhighway of the music business. Just keep writing them.
Well, that's the thing. I don't care for the new stuff that's coming out. I think it's kind of cookie cutter type stuff about pickup trucks and it's just, it don't relate to real life. And that's the thing I guess I love about your music more than anything, is because it's actually stuff that I can relate to. And I don't know if it's because I'm a little older in life and been through some stuff, but I don't care for the cookie cutter stuff. But one of the songs that I guess when I love songwriters, and we actually got a band and we play music. Never have done that much good, but anyway, we still get out there. But when I find a song that I like, I always want to know who wrote it. Then when I find out who wrote it, I always start following them. Like Billy Joe Schaefer. I'm a big Billy Joe Schaefer. John Prine. Some of these people. And I guess when I first started following you was back, I'm a big Waylon Jennings fan, and I'm friends with all of his band, Jigger and all them, but you did the song Old Church Hymns and Nursery Rhymes.
Yeah.
Love that song.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that song.
Me too. And, because I had done that song with Willie, when Willie cut Nothing I Can Do About It Now, he cut like 5 songs of mine all together on 2 different albums. And Waylon was around, and he called me up one day just out of the blue. And I hadn't really met him before.
Right.
And he left me a message on my answering machine. I still have it. He's like, Waylon Jennings here. I need to leave a message for Beth Chapman. I've been hanging out with Willie, and he's been playing me his new album, which I had 3 of my songs on it.
Right.
And he goes, I just have one thing to say to you, Beth. Write me a dang song. And then he hung up the phone, and I was like, what just happened? And I called up 17 people, because, of course, he didn't leave a phone number, and this is back in the days of the Codaphone,
right,
before they had caller ID. So it took me 2 days to get his phone number, and I ended up going over to his house and hanging out with him and Jesse Coulter, and we wrote a couple of songs. But I wrote a song for him, which was Old Church Hymns and Nursery Rhymes. And I was trying to write a good old Waylon outlaw song,
right,
and they were coming out so bad because it's not my wheelhouse, you know. And it was telling him, I said, Waylon, I was trying to write you an outlaw song, but there's not an outlaw bone in my body, so it was not coming out very good. And then he had a triple or fourple bypass surgery in the interim, and then once he recovered, as he was recovering, I was checking in on him through friends and stuff. I found out, that he was taking it easy, So I thought, well, maybe it's time for Waylon to write a song about sitting on the porch with a kid on his lap and just looking at the world. And that's what inspired me to write Old Church Hymns and Nursery Rhymes. I got this little movie in my head of Waylon just, taking it easy.
Yeah. Man,
and I love him so much.
I love that song. It is absolutely a song. And I know you were thinking about Waylon, but I know a lot of folks can relate to that, no doubt. Now, you're teaching and speaking, and like I said, folks, y'all listening, go to BethNielsenChapman.com. You get all the stuff, but the teaching, tell us a little bit about that before we have to go.
Well, it's just been an amazing joy in the midst of this pandemic because, of course, we can't, we haven't been able to get together until most recently, and I do these classes online. I do classes on voice and classes on songwriting and creativity, and you don't have to have any experience, and it's just been so much fun. We do it in Zoom, and there's all different ones. You can go to BethNielsenChapman.com, and Nielsen is spelled like the Nielsen ratings,
right.
Nielsen, and then you can go there and click through, or you can go to bncmasterclasses.com, which has all my classes that we're doing. I've got one coming up with David Wilcox, who's an amazing, amazing songwriter. And we call it the Song Spa Weekend, where we just take a little group of folks and we go in and we write a song. Everybody writes a song and we play it for each other in 2 days. And it's a great way to get sharpen up your skills.
I mean, that is something else right there. I might sign. Do you take a check or is it cash only?
Well, for you,
Cash.
we could do a deal. We could totally
like
do
a payment plan or something.
Maybe she'll trade hers for yours.
Yeah, boy, you ought to hear some of my songs I wrote. Boy, howdy.
Hey, you know what? You should totally check it out. And we have a thing called the gallery. So for like $20 you can, or $25 I think, you can just watch the whole thing. And then when we start the class, we do a drawing, and somebody's name gets picked, and then they get to go into the main class, where I can see all the students and we talk to each other. But the gallery is really fun. We had about 160 people in the gallery last time, and it was so much fun because they'd be commenting, going, "I think that line really is not so good,"
Yeah.
And it was it's like having a peanut gallery.
Oh.
So, yeah, but I'd love for you to, I'd love to hear your songs. I think that's great that you write and perform, and I encourage people across the board, and I think it's really inspiring to people. You're a radio voice, and you've got this, this inspiration to write songs. You don't have to just be doing that full time. You can be doing that and also do other things. It's a great thing to do for just enhancing life, you know.
Well, I make fun of Stephen all the time, but I'm going to admit something, and I'll never live it down. He's actually a great singer. He really is.
Hey, did you record that, Packy? Is that down?
He's a great singer, and he has a very good stage presence when he doesn't wear the old tennis shoes and the torn jeans.
Oh, yeah. Beth,
well, I went up.
What?
I went to my first out of my house thing a couple of weeks back, where Susie Boggers invited me to come on to her live stream, which she does on Wednesdays. She does Wind Down Wednesdays. And And I went over to her house, and I realized I was getting in my car, and I hadn't taken my pajama bottoms off. So I was like, "Oh my God, I got to dress from the waist down." So yeah, we're all going to have to look at our shoes now. Coming up pretty soon.
Sweet lady, I could talk to you all day about this, but we have got to get to a break.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Thanks for having me.
And
Thanks for having me.
It was great talking
Beth
to you.
Nielsen Chapman, go to that.com. You can see all this stuff. If you'd like to know from a very, very professional songwriter, you can join this, which would absolutely be great. And like I said, I love your songwriting, love your stuff, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I love coming on your show, and I'm going to start listening all the time because I've been listening to you lately. It's really entertaining. That's awesome.
She's very kind.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, girl.
All right, take care.
Oh.
Thank you for spending a little time with us. And remember, you can tune in every morning at WJULradio.com at 8 a.m. Eastern. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook, The Morning Dish.